Pioneer SX-1280. If you can't get your hands on a 1980, this is probably your next best bet. If that's, if you want this classic Pioneer gear. And I don't know, I'm kind of really at odds with this because I am going to do a very comprehensive restoration of this. But I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or if we're going to sell it. My friend Dave found this. He knew I was always been interested in another, in having another 1980 on the bench, and this time for my personal collection. But I'll be honest, I am so happy with that Spec 4 and the Spec 1 that those are probably most likely going to be on my on the rack upstairs, although I'm not sure yet. Something like this also is very desirable. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out and what I think, at that time. But this is probably going to be a longer series. I'm going to break it up into little pieces because I've ordered quite a few things from quite a few different sources to properly restore this. I'm even going to do the circuit board updates, for the power supply and the protect board. I'm going to send out the covers and the heat sinks and have them properly refinished. I'm going to refinish the wood here so it looks into its former glory, and probably even make some new side rails. I have a couple pieces of sycamore that have been drying in my shop for years. They were taken out of my father-in-law's property, and very beautiful lace pattern in them that I may use for that. So this is going to be a special receiver when it's done, no doubt. I'm just going to tell you up front, some of you are going to really like this, some of you aren't. I'm probably going to break this up into a bunch of small parts, and it's going to probably involve a lot of solder and chat videos, because you've seen me do this Pioneer gear. You've seen one, you've seen them all. I've done so many, and they're so similar. When you get into this, the 80 and even the 50 series and so forth, they're all very, very similar design. So that's what I'm planning for this series. Going to try some different techniques for testing things than we have in the past, including the new PA81 power amplifier analyzer. And we're going to start this part with just doing a quick assessment on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the buzzy, noisy isolation transformer. One of the reasons this transformer is so loud, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one is because I mounted it in a case, and mounted the case to the back of the workbench, like back here, and it vibrates that whole side of the bench. This is a huge transformer. It's rated at 240 volts at 70 amps. It's out of a very large X-ray machine, and it provided an isolated 120 and 240 volt supply for the entire room. And that's why it's so loud, and it has kind of a noisy core. It is enamel dipped and everything, but it's not a potted transformer, and it probably weighs about 120 pounds or so. Very heavy, but it's noisy. So we're going to listen to that. I'm going to use the 300 watt current limiting bulb, and we're going to just turn this on and see what happens. So let me move the camera a little bit so you can kind of see the bulb in the corner over here. And let's turn it on. Wow, that heated up really quick. Okay, good. And there goes the protect relays. So that's good. All right, turn back off. Now I'm going to go over to here. I have speaker wires connected, and the wires are going over to our new Sencor PA81 that's at its new home. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn this thing on, and hopefully nothing will drift on us too much. So let's turn this on. And then I'm I'm going to go to RMS volts because I want to look at the DC offset when I turn this on. So power coming back onto the amplifier. I'm just coming straight out of the speaker terminals into the inputs. Okay. And that was a bad noise. And I have these monitor speakers on, so that sound you heard was like a buzzing sound, even though I have the auxiliary. So we might have a noisy transformer or transistor somewhere. And you can see we're on times 0.01. So 0.01 times the voltage here, which is what, 0.15. So we move the decimal point over a couple more decimals. So 0.0015. So that's about 1.5 to just about 2 millivolts. So that's very small. So you're only talking about, 1 or 2 millivolts of offset. That's not too bad. And yeah, this is the camera stand in the way, but I'm going to turn on the audio generator and we're going to set it up for 1 kilohertz. And we're just going to feed, this just goes into a Y adapter that splits it into two signals for the right and left channel, and I'm going to feed it into the auxiliary. And I'll just turn that on right now. Okay. And I'm going to move this back around here. And now we're going to go to watts. I like how they say RMS watts. Oh boy. Sencor, what were you thinking? All right, so I think they mean that these are the watts and it's being generated from the RMS volts, but okay, we'll give them a pass. So we're on times 1, and I have the signal fed in. I'm on the auxiliary. Turn up the amplifier, and I am not getting squat out. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Okay, I have the auxiliary selected. I have the output turned on. How about some of our switches here? Nothing. So something's not right here. Oh wait, we're on the minus 20 dB. That might be helpful. Oh, here we go. And you can just barely hear those. So I have right channel only right now. I have a tiny little bit. Oh my goodness. So the tape monitor switches are both absolutely terrible. I don't know if you can hear that. Put that over there. And there's probably nothing on this side. And you can turn it up. I'm just wiggling the switches right now. So yeah, we're going to have to clean some controls. The other channel jumps around a little bit. There it goes. Oh, now the other channel's on and that channel's off. So, oh, now both went off. Okay, that's enough. So we can't even really test this until we clean all the controls in it. But we know it kind of works. Nothing appears to be too out of sorts. Let's go back to DC offset. And listen to that noise in there with the volume all the way down. On that side. So yeah, we have some noisy connections, noisy switches. Yeah, the right channel is a lot noisier than the left. Our DC offset is not bad though. So it's not horrible. So you can see how this thing works. I mean, it's pretty cool. This is going to be a good piece of test equipment, I can tell you right now. So as you can tell from this, our initial test on this wasn't all bad news, but it wasn't all good news either. Very dirty switches and controls, but generally it looks like the amplifier is functional. Now, of course, you know, I haven't tried the tuner, I haven't tried the phono stage, and I'm not really going to worry about that because I'm going to take this one step at a time, and whatever it takes, I'm going to repair it. It's going to be perfect, so I'm not going to really worry about extensively testing it right now. We'll just fix the problems as they come. So yeah, I was really happy my friend Dave found this. He called me about it and he said, you know, it's not exactly a 1980, but it is a 1280 and it's in really good condition physically. And that's, you know, that's the big thing I'm hung up on now is physical condition. You know, you can repair electronics, but you sure can't repair smashed faceplates and broken, you know, whatever. The heat sinks get bent, and the heat sinks are in, other than being, you know, faded and tarnished and things, there's no scratches in them, there's no dents, there's no bends in the fins. This whole thing is actually in what I would call a prime candidate for a full restoration. So as I said, that's all I'm going to do in this video. Just give you an introduction, let you know what's coming. This series, some people like the solder and chat parts of the videos, some of you don't, but that's probably what this one's going to be, because everything's going to be done in little chunks as parts and things come in as I order them, and have time in my busy, this is the busy time of year, is going to start kicking in first of the year. So anytime I have to work, I'll come down here, do a little bit, shoot some video of it, and then, you know, we'll get it edited and posted and just kind of go a little bit at a time. So that's how we're going to start off the new year here, I think. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. And, well, it kind of took the place of the Technics receiver that I was going to put up here that's equally as large as this. But we'll get to that one next, I think. Maybe this one here, it's heavy and large, and I want to get it done. So that's it for this one. And I hope you all had a good holiday, and I hope you all have a wonderful, happy new year. And we will wish you all peace, joy, happiness, and good health in your lives. And we're going to have, I think we're going to have a lot of quite an adventure with this thing. So stay tuned, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.